So do we have any questions from the floor at this point? We haven't received any questions passed forward, so I suppose we'd appreciate hearing from one of you, or many of you. Sure. Thank you, Nadine. This is Nadine Burkell, another European expert who's been focused on governance. And thank you, Nadine.
Thank you, Darren. I think governance and internationalization go hand in hand in a way. I'd like to make a few short comments and raise a sort of question, if I may. I believe there are many new opportunities for Thailand now for development in internationalization in higher education. Some of you might have seen the new recent EU communication on internationalization, Europe in the world, and Europe is saying, we believe, like Aaron was saying, we are still a strong destination for students, but the EU recognizes also that the world is changing very, very fast. There are many new regional hubs developing everywhere in the world, like Asia here, and there are great opportunities. So the EU is paying a lot of attention to this region, a lot of attention also to the changing higher education landscape. For example, the appearance of, you probably have heard of the MOOCs, the massive open online courses, all these courses delivered online, which can really provoke major disruption in the way higher education has developed. They also offer many new opportunities for institutions to enter into strategic partnership at the global level. But what is important, as many of you have said already, the trust between institutions, understanding institutions around the world, how they function. I'd like to bring here the concept of internationalization at home. In this context, you might have heard of the concept of the local student. The student who wants to stay in his country, in his region, he doesn't have maybe the opportunity, he or she, to go abroad for financial reasons, but he still wants an international education. And I believe there are many opportunities for university to rethink their education, the way they deliver and provide this internationalization at home. My question was whether you've come across maybe in your work, in your visits to university, Darren, and maybe from other colleagues also, of the way higher education institutions are engaging with society, with the labor market, with private companies, to see how they need to embed internationalization in what they do to better respond to the need of the labor market, to create new graduates with new types of skills which are needed for the knowledge society. And just a final comment, I've worked a lot on the Erasmus Mundus master courses and doctorate, and one of my colleagues often say the master courses have provided a positive, disruptive, innovative effect on institutions, on education, through the bottom-up approaches. When you work in partnership with other institutions around the world, you really need to rethink the way you are performing, you are developing your activity. And that's a very, very nice positive effect on the transformation of universities to respond to the needs of society and prepare the graduate and make their expertise available outside. So I'd like to hear about concrete examples maybe of what Thai universities are doing to promote this innovative way of acting for the knowledge society. Thank you. Sorry for having me a bit too long.
Thank you very much, Nadine, and thank you for contributing the benefit of your knowledge and experience in the context. If I can just very briefly reflect on my very limited experience with the Thai universities over the course of the past month. Something that I was very aware of and learned very early on was that there is no place for the ivory tower in Thai higher education. Thai higher education institutions are very embedded in the societies they inhabit. They are very engaged with the communities in which they are located. And heard many examples of Thai students and Thai universities leveraging their mass, their ability, their skill to enable and improve conditions within Thai society. The flooding of a couple of years ago was a very good example of how the universities really pulled together to better the situation for the communities around them. But for more specific examples on this, I'd very much like to ask the panel, perhaps Professor Sukhothai or Professor Kalaya would like to talk about this.
Yes, I think I'm from Kotak University. They have joined in.
Thank you, and allow me to share with the panel with them in response to Nadine's comments as well. Before I pose my own comments to the panelists, thank you very much for this conference today. I'd like to share with you about the role of university in terms of making internationalization in connection to the society development. Allow me to share with the experience that Thammasat University is now doing in terms of creating a subject called TU100, which is called Citizen and Social Responsibility. And this is not limited to only Thai students, but this is extended to all the international students, in particular to allow them to learn from the problems that are existing in society. And of course in the class there are a mixture of Thai and international students. Then they can learn from different cultures as well. When they try to think about how to address the social problems and how to address the possible approaches to tackle with the problems in order to get a resolution that could match to the society. Because we cannot get any generalization of this resolution in order to answer the problems in all areas. So it has to be specifically designed to cope with the specific environment or specific neighborhood, specific society. So this is quite successful so far that we have for about 5 years. And after we have this, for the international students, we found that a number of international students are very enthusiastic in contributing to help Thai society as well. So this is what internationalization can help us to promote the education, and this can be extended to the lower level as well, including the high school and also primary schools. Because the problems that we allow students to address is not limited to the kind of wide global level problems, but they will be allowed to get into the individual, very micro village level. Then they learn from real problems, including religious diversity. For example, we take them to Ayutthaya province where there are Muslim, Buddhists, and Christians living together, and they can live in harmony. So this is the kind of examples that I'd like to share with you. And the second one that I'd like to add is that it's not only Thammasat University. I'm sure that all universities are promoting internationalization by trying to increase number of inbound, outbound students, trying to have international professors coming into university, trying to add up more and more numbers of international, in other words, non-Thai speakers. But I think this is not the quantity. I like to support what Dr. Kalaya, Kunin Kalaya mentioned about the terminology of internationalization that is actually about international quality. I think we have to come back and perhaps rethink and reconsider what we mean by internationalization. And to say it directly, what's the point of having internationalization? If we do have greatest number of international students or international professors, and what's the point if you don't learn from them? What's the point if we don't share with them? What's the point if you don't listen to them? So I think it's a culture that we need to start from the very young age of people. Maybe I have to ask Dr. Pinti to bring it back to Ministry of Education. It's not only internationalization in the context of university, It's not only internationalization in the context of Thailand or EU. I think from today, we need to come back and reconsider what the internationalization can contribute. And I would like to add that when we talk about internationalization, if the objective is to promote whatsoever that you may think, I would propose internationalization will promote us to live in harmony, to live among diversity in unity. So if you have that as the objective, then it's not QS ranking, it's not number of international students, it's not number of international professors, it's not the level of English proficiency, but it's a level of understanding. It's the question of how you live with others, how you can cope with the conflicts, how you can finally make people living together, how you can make friends and maintain friendship in the future. I think that's the point of strategy that EU and Thailand can share. ASEAN UNINET is a platform that I really enjoy every time that we attend ASEAN UNINET. The friendship still maintains, but the point is how we can continue that. I think that's the question that I'd like to raise for Dr. Piniti and all others as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Would you like to reflect on those questions, or could we take some more questions from the floor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, dear panel members. Yes, my name is Dr. Kommers from the Netherlands, and I am one of the experts who did the study. I very much appreciate the whole discussion and the open atmosphere in this morning. One element that comes to my mind is that specific for higher education is the link between research and teaching. And I think we have learned in many parts of the world, like big areas like Australia and parts of the US universities, that education has become a kind of industry in itself. And I think this is not the best possibility. What I see is that possibility from Thailand, because still the numbers of international students are rather low, that there is a new possibility here to find the real basis for international education, in the sense that there are specialties here in the universities that are unique in the world, and that would be the basis for attracting students and building up learning communities. I think that would be a very lovely thing. So if any of the panel members have a reaction on this, it's very welcome. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Kommers.
I would like to give some comments adding to the speakers and the participants in a way that most of us in this room has no problem in communication. And you know that we have to communicate internationally in English. But English is the problem, the big problem for Thai students and most Thai. So even we want to be at international level, but they have the major obstacle, that is the means of communication. I think that the most practical step that everyone in this country should do is to boost English for our students since primary school up to university level, so that they can gain more opportunities, whether for internationalization or maybe for other things, you see. So one of the experts on the stage has said that international program is a key to internationalization. I would like to add that English is also the key to internationalization. So the government should pay more attention in this matter instead of doing anything that may be far beyond this. This is the step. And most of us in this room has the opportunity like you. We focus on mobility that can give a lot of new chances for us. And
students or our people could not have moved anywhere if they can't communicate. That's one important thing in my opinion. And the other thing I think is cultural understanding. If people can communicate well, so they tend to be easily understand each other different cultures. And also, if they understand the other, so peace and also social responsibility, because we will regard the other as our brother or sister, then internationalization is easy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All very good points.
Yes. I used to teach English once a long time ago in my life. And I gave it up. And now, in this position as VP for events, what I realized, I think my plan is certainly not to improve the teaching of English, but I think to push English to the students, to make them unable to survive without being able to use English, to take them out of their comfort zone, that is the Thai zone, into English zone. I think that's what we have to do. Because, you've been teaching English for 10, 12 years and nothing happened. And how come? Because they don't have to use English. But if you really put this, the situation in your universities to make them not being able to get A's without having proficiency in English, then they will learn English. So I think that's the way to do it too. And also, I'm committing suicide actually, trying to push my colleagues trying to push my colleagues out of their comfort zone as well. That somehow trying to push them to have to use English when they teach somehow. Not all the time, but they really have to use English in class. Not just in the international programs, but in the Thai programs. They have to use English, give assignment in English, assignment to read in English, assignment to write report in English. That will help to force students to learn English. And not to learn English, you don't have to be perfect in English to be international. You just have to be able to communicate. So my proposal is this, try to think of some way to commit suicide, like what I'm doing now. To force English onto your students, the 40,000 that I have, and also to force English onto your colleagues, 2,700 that I have. If I succeed, then I think my university will be more internationalized.
Nothing like a little bit of fear in education, is it?
Also, I can add, sorry, one thing, you can use MOOC. You can use what is available on the internet. Force them to force your colleagues to assign students to learn from MOOC. You have to force them, going the wrong way around. And force your colleagues to use MOOC, to use what's available on the internet in English in their classes. And then force them to force the students to go to those websites, to as much as possible in English, and force them to set exam questions from what's available on the website. And then they will learn English. Sorry, that's a
Huge resource out there to be taught. Dr. Tim.
Yeah, thank you. I think I fully agree with our colleagues from Thammasat University. from my opinion, we will make use of program and international students as a tool or as a means to reach the goal that you mentioned. I think the important thing for internationalization is to understand not only for the language, but the cultural understanding that some our colleagues also mentioned, for the adaptability of our people to the new environment, to the new workplace, something like this, by making use of this as a tool. Well, when you mentioned about the English learning process in Thailand, well, it's like a chicken and egg, right? Whether we should have qualified teachers from year 1 to year 12, or whether we should have a new curriculum to improve our students in English. Well, it's hard to say. But one thing that I always share, have a chance to speak in the public, is the case of my son. He finished year 12 in normal program, in Thai program. But I forced him that you must take international course for your undergraduate. Because it is unavoidable for the future that you, without good English command, good command in English, to get a good job, to survive in a changing world. So he entered for the international program at one university, I need not to mention. In 4 years, it's 4-year courses. And I also supply him a chance to learn more English by buying him an English magazine, like a Times magazine. I convinced him that if he wants to watch a movie, just watch the movie with English title, something like that, for 4 years. And after 2 years, he finished bachelor degree. And also, he said that, I want to continue my studies. So I said, it's okay, you can continue your studies, and you want to study overseas. And he sat for an English test 4 years in that program. He was able to earn IELTS at first 7. At first, without any coaching, without any extra coaching from the program, learning by himself. And when he applied to study in UK, and that program required 7.5. And he sat for the second test, and he was able to gain up to 7.5. And this is an example I always mention, that English is not a burden. You can improve, provided that you have to be exposed in the international or English environment. And it depends on the student, not for the institution or the teacher. Because I strongly believe that to have a good command of English, you must first improve yourself, not for the teacher. And begin with conversation. And I think this is the way to do. So, that I mentioned earlier, that no matter how good of your students are in English, within 4 years, it is possible to improve English proficiency, I strongly believe. When I talk about the international program, I have learned that there are 2 Thai universities now that declare themselves that they are international universities. The first one is Assumption University, private university, because they told me that every subject are taught in English, and they create in English international environment in the university. The second university was told Mae Fah Luang University. They offer an English program, not program, actually it's a Thai program, but they deliver in English. So with this kind of activity, I'm sure, I strongly believe that it will increase the English competency of the Thai students in that study. Well, it's my point that I want to share.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kennedy. The idea that students have to take responsibility for their own learning and not necessarily blame universities or hold universities accountable for all of their learning is a very important point. Any other questions from the floor?
May I add an example? A long time ago, we experimented at my department by enrolling a foreign student into a Thai program. That foreign student knew a little bit of Thai, but we thought it would be an experiment. We realized his knowledge of Thai would be enough to do the Thai program, full Thai program. That forced us, lecturers, to have to be bilingual, to teach in Thai and translate in English, or teach in English and do a bit of translation in Thai. And our students really enjoyed it. Students are Thai students. They had a chance to do some English and just learn some English. And to have this foreigner as a colleague, they have to use English, some type of English. It's like not forcing the whole program in English. But perhaps this could be one way out. It's suggestion. When we import students to mobility, we have students coming to your university. Why don't you put them in the Thai program? If you put your exchange students to Thai program, you force your professors to use English. They wouldn't like it at all. But that's one way of internationalizing your classes, your students. And somehow you have to convince your colleagues that you have to do some teaching in English. Some way, that sort of thing will internationalize and will really give opportunity to your students with their friends, new friends.
Absolutely, the value of integrating students is huge.
I'm not quite sure that everyone in the room know this program or not, but okay. With the leadership of Ajahn Trinity have launched what they call the best practice in internationalization for a few years already. And I have the honor to be one of the members. And I found it very, very interesting. Like when one of the programs that have been awarded, this program is on like is about art, painting, sculpture, all of this. And what this is, I don't know what in English, but this is Vidyalai Pachan. What they have done, there was a person who is more like a champion, person, and he invited artists from different countries in the world coming to this college. And then when they come, what they have to do is that they have to demonstrate, they have to finish one piece of artwork. Whatever it will be, like painting, sculpture, or whatever. And when they are doing that, the students from that particular college and others, together and see how do he or she do that artwork. And English may be important, but may not be English in the way that we are talking. If you want to learn the technique of this particular artist, you need to find somewhere to talk to him or her. And the artist may take like 2 or 3 days to finish one work. But what happened is that they have created a community of those people who have something really the same mind, the same interest. And at the end, it is a starting point of a long-lasting relationship. And I think that is become a kind of international community of those who are doing the same thing. And I think for me, I think it's a very, very interesting program. But I give this example for 2 reasons. One is that, for me, do what you do best. You may not have to do the same like what Thammasat or Juฬาor Mahidol is doing. Do what you do best, what you can do, like this Vidyalai Phachang. And use your own specialty, use your own strength, and use it in the right way. I think that is very, very important to do that. Be practical. And then with that kind of program, it requires different type of English proficiency. So another reason that I mentioned is, I think from having been a member of this committee, I have a chance to visit different programs. I think we need to do more like the KM of these practices. There are good things happen here and there, but sometimes we may have to do more in terms of sharing. And best practices is you can find here and there, but maybe we have to do more in this sharing in the right manner. That's my point.
I think, yeah, I add an example. When you look at the English proficiency test score of the fine arts people, always the students always came lowest, right? But the other day, because the news of the Juฬา, the fine arts students welcomed Indonesian students to spend a whole week with them, enjoying themselves tremendously, learning the Indonesian music and Thai music exchange. But how do they do that? It means that they have the means, they have to convert it to English. Although their test score so low, they manage to live together with the Indonesian students for a week. But that's what we need, right? That's what we want. So I'm happy. I don't find any more that score so low. As long as they can communicate in what they do, and they enjoy themselves tremendously.
So we have communities of practice evolving out of communities of interest, and English is not necessarily a problem when there is enough interest, and they will find a way. Question over here.
My name is Pablo David from Malaysia University. I have some experiences to share and some comments to questions to ask the panelists. My family speaks English only at home. We got 2 kids. They have not gone to any kind of tutoring school, just like normal Thai kids do. Right now, when I was young, I had to spend like 2 weeks to study like cardiophysiology of the heart. But for my kids right now, they can learn this kind of stuff from YouTube within 30 minutes. Right now, they are enrolling into Khan's Academy. studying in 9th grade in Thai educational system, but right now he's learning about Schrödinger equations. And my 9-year-old son is learning computer modeling with Khan Academy. Right now, at present in higher education in the US or even in UK or in Europe, they are offering online courses, and these courses are offered by highly famous, worldly renowned professors from that institution. But we have obstacle, our own, lack of English proficiency. Nonetheless, for those who can, we don't have any opportunity or channel for our students to attend to or enroll in those kind of online institution or online courses and get credit for their own within our curriculum. That may be another thing that we have to think about. Good English proficiency is good. Good professor is also a value to add, but we don't capitalize it.
Thank you very much. So very good suggestions there and reflections.
Dr. Sufridi from Thammasat University. Thanks for the wonderful discussion about internationalization. I think the conference has been providing a good definition of this technical term, and I agree with my colleague as well about internationalization is about understanding of differences. And also, I would like to share one aspect of internationalization. If we try to internationalize institutes, we also as well look at ourselves from internal units of our international office. Are we ready for internationalization? Do your staff speak English? I think that's a very radical question. Do your staff still take lunch breaks? Do your staff know a lot of tasks around your office? What we try to do is educate our staff to teach, to speak multiple languages. We have a staff that actually can speak French, can speak Japanese, can speak Indonesian, Bahasa. So that would be also the one-stop service. I think it's a very radical question about being international institutes. Our staff never take breaks. They do in shifts. So we will be able to respond to international standards of services. When we had massive flood 2 years ago, we were lucky that our international students are all saved. We have deaths. How do you deal with death? We have death last year. We have to confront their parents. What happened to your student? Why did they die? We have students who actually go to jail. I actually have to go to the general prosecutor's office to take that student out of the jail. So I think some radical questions like this, I think it's also help us and answer how we be ready for internationalization, not just the English proficiency, not just the academics. So I think this sharing experience also a good learning from Erasmus Mundus as well, because they take good care of our students. And we bring those ideas, bring it back, help our AIMS project. Because we have faced difficulties when we send our students to AIMS project. We would not like to do the same as they do. That's why we try to internationalize our office. And that's how we became, actually we are becoming. We want to become international institution. So that's some sharing experience.
Thank you very much, Professor Sufridi. I think we have time for more questions.
Sorry, this is my last question, I think. My name is Peter Pat from Silpakorn University. I think we learned a lot about how to develop our university to be international. But one thing I think is for university that have staff who graduated in Thailand, I think it's quite a problem for them to make that international, to make that university international. Because one measure that we mentioned to be internationalized for our university is to have international program. But for example, for university like Rajamangala and Rajabhat University, I think they have small number of PhD lecturer graduates from abroad. And I think the solution, the common solution for university like Chulalongkorn or Thammasat is to hire PhD who graduate from abroad. I think we should for the OX. I think maybe we should have a policy to support or to encourage to develop our existing staff lecturer who graduate in Thailand to be able to teach international program. I think that's one important thing that we should take into account. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that local capacity development really goes to the core of maintaining quality in the Thai higher education system. Do we have time for one more question? We do. Is there one more question to come? Or please.
I have one more point to add. We have to be ever so careful when we add the English into our program, the Thai program, because our students can go to administrative course. Yes? We know a lot about students going to administrative course to raise issues with administrative course that universities doing this and this is wrong, and ask the administrative court to force the university to get back to teaching in Thai. So that's very important that we have to announce beforehand that we can use English anytime when we teach in the Thai program. Otherwise, the university can get into trouble.
That's a local context. I wasn't aware of this, but thank you for that.
And my last point, as we have one here represents EU, and you also mentioned about the policy of supporting activities in Thailand. One is quality assurance, right? The other one is credit assurance. Yeah, but I don't know whether we can make use of this policy to develop some kind like project from Thai University submitted to EU for further support. Okay. Yeah. So actually this program today and the project today, I would like to inform you that it was initiated by McCoy, and I think that it's very good and will be benefit to all Thai universities. So I would like to see more further development after this, not just only this project and finish. We work on behalf of the Higher Education Commission. We would like to see the continuation of the program to be developed. So I think I would like to call for any suggestion from the floor. I mean, maybe not today, but maybe sometime in the future. And you can come to talk to us, or maybe consult NACONS on the possibility of developing this kind of project in the future.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kennedy. Yes, I think that's a very important point. We really require your feedback in plotting the direction and the best approaches to implementing such cooperation. So as Mr. Corn mentioned, he'd be very pleased to hear from you, perhaps at lunch or sometime later. At that, I'd like to bring the proceedings today to a close. I'd like to thank you all very much for attending and actively participating. A personal thanks thanks to all of the staff that I met, the academic staff, administrative staff, to the Office of Higher Education Commission. It's been a fantastic month. The hospitality here alone makes it very difficult to